Welcome to Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 491. We are getting to the end of the year, friends, and today we're going to talk about how do you reset and refresh before the new year without overhauling everything while still enjoying your winter break and all those things. It is that week that maybe it's quiet, maybe it's loud at your house, right? Holidays have wrapped up, like the big December ones. The new year is approaching, right? We're the week of. But if you're anything like me, you're similar, right? You're torn. You're like, I want to relax. I want to read my book. I want to plan. I want to do all the things. I want to get ready. I want to do nothing. You just don't know what to do. It's totally normal, right? You might be feeling like this mix of exhaustion. I'm so tired. Mom made the magic, and here it is. Gratitude. Oh, we get to be home. This is so fun. Maybe you feel guilt, like, "Oh, I should be working on my goals a little more. I should be doing some more things, but my brain just needs a break." We're gonna talk about all those things today. We're gonna talk about how do you reset, how do you refresh without overhauling every single routine that worked before winter break, without having to set a million and one goals or reinvent yourself because you're amazing, right? But you deserve to go after the things you want. You don't need big changes. You just need a little bit of gentle realignment. And you also can still relax. You can still take a break. You can still enjoy this week, but I'm going to give you some prompts, some things I want you to think about to start to get ready. New Year, we always joke it's like the mom Super Bowl, right? New Year and back to school. So I want you to start thinking about it, but you know, our bodies are actually meant to rest in the winter, the way we're cyclically made, right? It's why the animals hibernate in the winter. Spring is actually the best time for new goals, but societally, we are conditioned and trained. So I know that your brain is like, January 1st, let's do it. Well, I'm going to give you some tips on how to let's do it, but like simmer it down, right? How to let's do it and go in excited, but instead of feeling like you need to do everything. That's what we're going to talk about, okay? I want you to start with the reflection. Because we always do. Five-step process here, Purpose Driven Mom reflection is here. And a gentle reset is going to work better for you right now, going back to school in the next few weeks, restarting the new year, than a huge overhaul. Because I just want to remind you, some of the things that you were doing just a few weeks ago worked. Just because they don't feel like they're working now because everyone's home and your schedule is different doesn't mean that they don't work. I want you to reflect on your typical January energy. And there's a reason a couple years ago, my book, The 15-Minute Formula, you can still get it. Sells almost every single day. Someone's buying a copy of this bad boy on Amazon. So go grab it. But there's a reason that we had it come out the third week in January. And I worked with my book coach. And I remember, gosh, it was 4 years ago now. And he was like, you need to have it come out for Black Friday sales. You need to have, and I was like, no, I know my mom. I know when she needs this book. And it's not when she's getting ready for the holidays because she's struggling to think about what her needs are. It's the third week in January. And that was when it came out, and it was the best time for it because by the third week in January, we are exhausted. The goals we've set for ourselves, if you joined our 2026 planning, maybe you've made some goals and already you're like, oh, I don't know, is this too much on my plate? Like that excitement wanes really, really fast. So I want you to reframe January for yourself of a reset instead of an overhaul. I can start to add in some of my goals. I want you to go after your big dreams. I want you to do those things. But you don't have to do it all January 1st. We set ourselves up with the Monday mentality in January, big time, like big time Monday mentality energy. You do not need to start everything over. You need to come back to center. This week, right now, I want you to give yourself some breathing room. I want you to think, I want you to relax, I want you to rest and decide what is best very intentionally. Not what do I need because I see other people having these goals. Not I need 10 new planners and 100 goals and new systems. None of that. I want you instead to take this week to take a pause and ask yourself these questions. What was working, right, before break? And what do I want to tweak? It's tweaks and changes. So before we try to fix it all, just take a moment and ask yourself, what has worked? What routines worked? What rhythms worked? And here's some ones I want you to also think about how you feel. We don't do that. We're always like, does this work? Does it not? Good points. What made you feel calm this year? If I do my weekly, I'm just going to go with the meals for this example, but if on Sunday do my weekly meal prep, I am like rock and rolling. I feel great. What about you? What are some routines that you had that helped you stay grounded? So in the summer, we had some really good night routines. I was reading a chapter of a book with my daughter. We started the Percy Jackson series. I was doing my skincare. I was stretching. I felt so grounded. And I noticed once school started, a lot of those night routines left because now we have evening activities and things like that. So I want to get back to that. Again, it's not an overhaul. It's this did work in the past, and I just want to bring it back. I want to bring back the stretching. I want to bring back the downtime for myself. I want to bring back that connection point with my daughter. That made me feel so grounded. And what moments did you have this year where you felt like your best self? happy, joy, those things that we don't often allow ourselves to have or be. This year, you're going to hear a big theme switch over at Purpose Driven Mom. We're going to focus a lot on joy. I'm going to help you figure out like how do you find it. We're actually switching our weekly planning system. I've had it for years, and I'm going to add joy into it. And I'm excited for fun for us moms to have some more fun. What made you feel great? Maybe what didn't? Are there people you were around that you were like, nope? Are there things you did? Like, we went on a family vacation to Kalahari, which is like an indoor water park. I love water rides, and I never been on them until I was an adult. I'd literally never been on like a real water slide until a grown up. I was a grown up. Oh my goodness. I scream and laugh like roller coasters, all those things. I forgot that I had joy in those things. So I want to bring some of that back. Like, what made you feel the greatest? The past couple months, so I'm recording this early. It's only October when I'm recording this because I'm batching to get ahead so I can take off for the holidays. I just finished let me look. I'm on day 65 today of a paleo thing. I was doing Whole 30. I did 30 days of that, and now I'm 35 days of paleo-ish. Mostly paleo. I've given myself 90%. I feel great. I have energy. I don't have bad headaches. I'm not craving. Like, I feel really good. So I know if future care is listening to this after Christmas and getting ready for New Year's, I'm sure I indulged, right? I'm sure I had some treats. I'm sure that like I'm not 100% paleo right now. I want to get back to that because I know it feels good. I don't have to overhaul it all. I don't have to be like, I messed everything up. I just have to get started, like take the next best step. And I think a lot of times we take our power away, right? We think, oh, I don't know what to do. Yes, you do. You do know what to do. Now, sometimes we need help, which is what I do in the Perfect Driven Mom Club, right? It's like I help you figure out what your next best step is because sometimes we're so far in the weeds we can't see, right? Um, but if you've had routines and systems that work, you know how to make them work. You just need to trust yourself and get back to them. After you've done your reflection, your next step is to release the pressure. I did a one on one coaching call yesterday. And when we got to the end of the hour, she said, honestly, it was more that I needed the permission to move things around. And I always say here at a Purpose Driven Mom, you don't need the permission, but I'll give it to you. We don't inherently, as women, feel like we deserve things. So we struggle, like we feel like someone has to give us permission to exist in whatever way. Again, patriarchy, society, like all those things. But I don't need to give it to you, but I will. I will give it to you until you're ready to give yourself the permission. And that's what she said. Now, I start my 2026 planning early. I said the first week of November, I start my personal 2026 planning. Like I'm about to get there. You don't have to have everything mapped out to get started, okay? You could wait and start planning in January. You could say, I'm going to take January as my reset month. Now, this is what I did the past 2 years. I actually took January 2025 and 2024. They were my reset months. So I didn't have my planning. It was like bones, like I did the skeleton of it, but I didn't have it fleshed out until the end of January. I gave myself January to be my planning month. That's okay. It's a calendar. It is a tool. It is not the be all end all. I want you to let go of anything you feel like you should be doing. We always have this saying over in the club, like stop should, don't should on yourself. And if you hear yourself shoulding, ask yourself like, whose voice is this? You don't have to do it just because you think you're supposed to. You don't have to start a new workout routine January 1st. You don't have to organize your entire house. You don't have to pick your word of the year. You don't have to go on your super strict budget. You don't have to do any of these things unless you feel called to, unless you feel led to. What if you just relax this week, right before the new year? And then next week, kids go back to school, routines get back, and use that as your planning time. That's also okay. We always say the same thing, like if you don't get your planning done on a Monday, it's just a Monday, right? I want you to start thinking, how can you release pressure? One of them is the shoulds, and the other is getting out of your face the things that are making you feel unworthy, the things that are making you feel like you're supposed to be doing something. Now, I took social media off my phone early October. It was a test for myself for the month. I'm at the end of the month as I'm recording this. It's 29th of October today. Again, this is coming out in the future. I don't want to put it back on my phone. I look at it on my computer. There are times where I want to upload videos or put something in the marketplace or look at something. So I just install the app. I'm not comparing myself to what other people's falls look like. I don't know how many pumpkin patches you went to, and I don't care, right? Good for you, right? But I don't have to compare myself. So if there are apps on your phone that are draining your time, your mental health, the social media one, friends, honestly, it's a good way to connect, but also not being on social media makes me actually have really good conversations in real life. Because when I see you at pickup, I have no idea what you're doing. So when I say, how are you? It's not, how are you? But I just saw the 6 posts that you made about the sports your kids are in. It's, how are you? I really don't know. I also want you to let go of any goals that don't fit your season. So as you're thinking about the end of the year and going into the new year. If you have stuff that you put on because you felt like you're supposed to do it, take it off. Maybe it's not the time for you. Or maybe quarter two or quarter three. And we're talking about a trimester planning schedule now here at A Purpose Driven Mom, but like maybe in the summer you'll get to that thing. That was me with my home improvement. I wanted to do a home improvement project every quarter this year. I got my kids' rooms sort of done. They're like 80% done. I'm okay. I really don't care. Like it felt important to me. And then as I went through, I realized it wasn't. And I'm also okay with the fact that like my house could it use a paint job? Yes. Could it, no, I go to my friend's house, she just painted and they're very handy. So they did all the stuff themselves and they painted a whole bunch of rooms and redid stuff. And it made me think, oh, I should do this. And I was like, I should, but I don't care, right? Release those things. And then also, if you have anything going on the next week or so that you feel guilted into, not intentionally, but from your own, like, I should do this, maybe say no to it, right? Give yourself permission to release the pressure. And once you've done that, thinking about the next week in January, I want you to pick one area to refresh. This is our third step. Micro changes. It is not about reinventing your life. It is about choosing small things, one small thing to refresh, to start feeling clear, clarity, calmness, all the C words, right? To help your brain feel less cluttered. Maybe pick one routine. We're getting ready to get back to school. Start getting that evening routine back on track. I know mine, whenever the kids aren't in school, like weekends, my evening routine gets thrown off because I'm not doing the same things. Get one routine back on track. Or maybe work on one mindset thing. Give yourself one positive affirmation, one thing that you're like, I want to repeat this over and over. Or do you have one, again, one unfinished goal that you really wanted to accomplish this year? Could you spend a little time on it this week? I also want to recommend, again, the tips I give in the 15-minute formula. Ask yourself this question. If I have 15 minutes today to refresh any one area, so I could walk into January feeling more calm, more in control, less chaotic, what would it be? That's going to help guide your micro change that I want you to make. I also want you to remember this week that rest is productive. You don't need to earn it. I don't care if right now all the toys from the holidays are everywhere. Your kitchen is a mess. Like, I know how it gets over break. Everybody's home. We've traveled a bit. So, like, there's suitcases, like all that. Rest is part of the plan, friends. Rest is productive. The best thing, honestly, that you can do before the new year hustle hits you is pause, is pick up the book you want to pick up the craft, call a friend, take a nap. Do those things so you can have a refreshed energy. If you're unsure how to do this because your brain feels like, I can't rest the whole break, I have things to do, start small. We always have small, start small, right? Can you put your phone away? Can you delete those apps? Honestly, deleting the apps has given my anxiety and my life so much rest. Like, yes, I still check in with the news. I want to know what's happening in the world, but it doesn't consume my brain. I feel like my brain this month has been able to breathe. Journal. If you're like, I do want to think through these things, journal, get a tea, a coffee, read that book that you want to do. The lazy morning. This is my big one on breaks. Like, I love a lazy morning. And last year was the first year I ever did this where I took completely off of work for Purpose Driven Mom. Now I'm proud I because I can't just do one thing. I have multiple part-time jobs. I'll work from home. So I'll probably like tune into a couple of those, but giving myself the that I have no meetings, like that's my plan over winter break is no meetings. Anything I'm going to do is at the computer on my own schedule and time and leisure. I want to have a cozy morning. So have a pajama morning or do it some game nights, those things. Go for a walk. I know it might be cold where you live, but no agenda, just to go take a walk. Go take a walk. I have nothing to think about, nothing to do. I'm just going to enjoy, okay? Resting, it doesn't mean you're unmotivated. It doesn't mean you're lazy. It just means you're giving yourself the energy that you're going to need because in a week or so, the kids are going to go back to school and things are going to get hectic again. I want you to set some gentle intentions for your year ahead. Okay. Instead of thinking these grand resolutions, these huge things I need to overhaul, because what that does is it creates this mindset in us of I'm terrible, I need to fix me. No, no, no. Just make a couple intentions. How do you want to feel? What things could you do to make you feel that way? What kind of mom, what kind of woman, what kind of leader, what kind of person, coworker, what kind of daughter? Who do I want to be? Right? Like I want to feel more grounded. I don't want to feel super scattered. I want to take some pressure off. That's a big one for me. I feel like I was under a lot of pressure in 2025. I want to have more fun. I mentioned joy, right? Like, what is it for you? I have a great tool that we use called Future Me, but Future Me has changed their website, so you have to pay now, I think. But what you can do the same thing in your Google and just schedule the email. Write yourself a little letter, okay? To have it come out at the end of the first quarter, even. Don't wait to the end of the year of what you want it to feel like. Not what you do, not I've accomplished this, I've accomplished this. I feel peaceful. I don't feel scrambled. I feel happy. And then send it to yourself. Again, if you have Gmail, you can do that scheduler at the bottom. Send it to yourself in 3 months. And I want you to read it and check in. Do you still feel that way, right? You can enjoy this week while still being intentional about planning the future, but without the pressure. I want you to reflect this week, okay? Take the pressure off of what you should be doing, the goals you should have, what it should look like. Refresh just one area this week. I don't gotta overhaul it all, just gotta do one. Intentionally rest, refresh yourself, feel good, and then make some gentle intentions for the first week in January. Your job this week isn't to plan it the entire year, it's not to fix everything, it's just to notice what you want the next step to feel like. Take 15 minutes today, enjoy the week, refresh. If you want to take January to do those things, you can. You can go hard on your planning. If you want to plan now, you can as well. Just remember, it's up to you. Show notes are at purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 491. And listen, Happy New Year. Have a great, great end of 2025. I hope 2026 brings you all the amazing things. And I'll see you in the future.